Hello, Dave.
This is him. This is Zach.
What's going on, my brother? How you doing, man?
Good to hear from you, man. How you doing?
Fuck it, dude. We are doing great, man. We just got done blasting Apocalyptic Dawn for these motherfuckers. And,
nice.
Yeah, I gotta say, man, that shit's bad fucking ass, dude. You guys are killing it, man.
Thank you.
Hell yeah. So tell us, man, what's been going on in the world of Jungle Rot?
Yeah, we're still fighting the fight, and we got album number 12 coming out in May, and we just had the first single, Apocalyptic Dawn, and we're excited as hell. A lot of good feedback, and I'm just glad to be here still, man, fighting the fight.
Hell yeah, man. Fuck yeah, dude. Yeah, man, fucking you guys been kicking it for a while, man. For people out there that don't know, or maybe can you give us a brief history rundown of how you guys got started and how long you've been doing this?
Band started in 94. I found them in 95. I started in 95, and we've been putting out albums ever since. We got signed early on. We got a heartbeat, and we went, here we are today with 12 albums out. I think if anybody ain't heard of us yet, man, they probably never get to hear of us, man, because it's been a long road, I'm sure.
Hell yeah. And you guys are now with Unique Leader Records, man. Can you tell us about that, man?
I'm glad to be with Unique Leader. I mean, they do their best they can. We had our time with Victory at a major label. We're taken care of very well on Victory, man. Real priority with that label. But I'm just glad to still be doing it here. Unique Leader does a great job as much as they can. They're an independent label, and we're just glad they're behind us and, helping us out as much as they can.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. I think they're awesome, man. Like we've worked with quite a few bands from their label so far, man, and done a bunch of shows on here. Nikki at Breaking the Law, fucking she's awesome, dude. Love her, man. Yeah.
It's just kind of weird, it's kind of like when we were on Victory Records, we're kind of the oddball out. We're the death metal band with a lot of, what they had going on in their roster, and then you got Unique Leader, they're such known for pretty extreme music, and then you got us, the old school band, but it's kind of cool, we're doing our own thing,
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, it definitely is. It is sort of like a, I don't know how you'd say it, but like it is definitely a different. It's definitely it's something different in the mix of what they normally do, but I think that's cool, man. Like
yeah. I mean, I'm glad Jamie was a fan. He signed us, and you want to have a little bit of everything. If I was a label, I think I'd want the same thing, a little bit of everything. You don't want just one same band over and over, I guess, right?
Yeah, right. Hell yeah. Well, so tell us about this new record, man.
Yeah, new record, Crew Face of War. Very proud of it. We started writing it. Last spring we started writing it, and started coming together pretty quick over the summer, and we did some touring. We got some time to work on it. We were on the road with Benediction in Europe, and
hell yeah.
It's everything we wanted. I think this is the first album that kind of, in my opinion, I know a lot of bands say that, but I think this is the first one that really got the closest to capturing us what we sound like. I think who we really are, in Jungle Rot live, and it's pretty toned down. It's not too clicky with the triggers on the kicks and stuff. It's more natural, and we're just, every one of us in the band is excited. We're very happy with the way it came out. I mean, Dan Swano did an excellent job. I mean, Gulia on the artwork, we always go to him on the artwork. I mean, that was a treat again. I mean, his covers are always the best, man. I mean, it's just, I'm really happy right now with everything.
Yeah, man. Yeah, the sound is definitely, it's definitely very organic. It has that natural... that natural sound, like old school death metal, man. Like,
yeah, that's what we're going for. It's kind of, we had our polished albums, and you listen to the producers what they want to do, and you go that it sounds awesome, but this really captured us. I think you listen to the live recordings, and I listen to the recordings now, man. I think it's as close as it's gotten ever to the way we sound live, I think.
Yeah, for sure, man. I'm a huge fan of live albums. Like, I've got a huge collection of live records. Like, that's usually that's like my go-to, man. Like, I don't know. I like that feeling of the naturalness of it. Plus, especially like if you've been to been to a tour or a show of a specific band, you know, from that era or whatever, it brings back those memories.
Yeah, you relive it, man. Yeah.
But it's just...
Yeah, I'm a fan of the live, too, man. I'm hoping someday we can put on a live. I'm hoping on the next one we can do that, man, with the next album. We're due for that, you know, greatest with live, you know. I'd love to do that.
Hell yeah. Yeah, for sure, man. I was gonna say the artwork is fucking it's amazing, man, as always, dude. But it's definitely it definitely touches. I feel like it touches on the current state of the fucking world.
Yeah,
bit, you know.
Yeah, we're usually on top of what's happening out there. You know, it's Apocalyptic Dawn. We wanted to go with the single. You know, it's kind of apocalyptic. It's kind of like the devastation, the end of everything, and then, you know, the dawn's a new beginning. And we're hoping, you know, if we get past this, it's a new beginning. I guess, you know.
Yeah. I was gonna ask you about your themes. You know, I usually ask bands about the themes and stuff behind the songs and records and whatnot. But with you guys, I think it's pretty fucking obvious, man. I mean, well, you tell me.
Well, it's we always had the war and the gore, and then we got a little bit of politics here and there, but in positive direction, I think, man. You know, it's, you know, I think it's, I don't know how to describe how we come across. It's hard from a band to see how we come across another person to a fan, you know. It really is. I mean, how do you see it? I mean,
it fucking war, dude. Fucking like old Vietnam movies and shit. Like, I don't know, like the name Jungle Rot too. I was gonna ask you, how did you guys come up with that? Because it makes me think of the fucking shit people would get on their feet.
Well, the name Jungle Rot came up. We were in school at the time in a history class, and there was a multiple choice question, and one of them came up. It was like, what do the soldiers have in Vietnam at the time when they, you know, I can't remember specifically what it said, but it was something about with their boots on all the time, and it was either trench foot or Jungle Rot, and, you know, I put Jungle Rot down, and that's what it was, and I remember coming, and that was it.
So I was right, man.
Yeah, it came out of a history class with war and all that, exactly.
Yeah, that's what it made me think about, man. Like, you know, like fucking Apocalypse Now and fucking Platoon and all that shit, man.
Yeah, having a name like Jungle Rot, it's pretty hard to get away from the war gore theme, you know. I mean, you always got to have that in there for sure, you know.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man. So you said that you guys just got back from doing some tours with say Benediction.
That was last year. We did it over the last in the summertime last year when we were writing the album. I did some writing with him, and, you know, at the same time we were on the road, and I got Dave Ingram to do special guests from Benediction. You know, he was there at the time, and he did one of the songs. It was great, man. I mean, I think that helped us out a lot writing. You know, when you're playing every night and you know, seeing legends like Benediction, you know, it really influences you, helps you writing, and it helped a lot getting the album going, man. It really did.
Yeah, man. That last album that they just put out was fucking badass too.
Yeah, that was some pretty incredible album, man.
Those guys are legends.
Pretty incredible guys too, man. I mean,
hell yeah. What was that like seeing them live? Fucking. I imagine you're probably up there side stage or whatnot.
I was You're right. I was side stage almost every night for them, and they were side stage for us almost every night. That's what was so cool. That's what was so cool about it. But, you know, here we are again. You know, I think back, you know, 25 years ago when I used to go to the record stores and thumb through the albums, and oh my God, you know, Benediction, pick it up, and then here I am, you know, so many years later, and touring with them. They're on my album. You know, they're friends. It's just, that's the reward for me. You know, that's the biggest reward.
That is cool, man. That is fucking cool, dude. Well, tell us about your upbringing, man. Like take us back to the beginning, like when you were young, and what were some of the records that got you into music and got you to this point where you're at now, like that made you.
Yeah, that's a story. I mean, when I was young, I grew up in Kenosha, Wisconsin. I found the underground real young, 83. You know, I found the punk scene in Kenosha. It used to be a really big punk stop for hard, you know, punk bands, national touring bands. You know, they used to stop here all the time. So I found that right away. And remember, you know, from 84, 85. I remember Slayer, Show No Mercy. I got the tape, and I remember the scene starting to change, come around 85, 86, and I just started finding more of the underground and the destruction and the Sodom. It just took me all the way up to here today. I never really left it. I think once you find the underground, I think you really stay in it. It's such a big part of my life. I really wouldn't know what else to do.
Oh yeah. Oh hell yeah, man. I mean, you hit the nail on the head right there, dude. Like the underground. Fuck, if it wasn't for the underground, like I wouldn't even probably be here doing what I'm doing right now. Like they carry me doing all this. It's just that's what's. And you're right. Once you get into it, man, it's never ending, dude. It's just a never ending wormhole of, and it never stops. There's continuously new stuff continuously coming out all the time, man. It's just crazy.
Yeah, it is pretty crazy. And I'm just like I always say, I feel weird saying it, but I am very grateful to still be here doing this with, there's so many good bands out there, and, the wheels change so much, and death metal and extreme metal, whatever you want to call it. But, I'm just real happy we're being able to do this still. I really am.
Hell yeah. Well, so do you guys have anything that you want to announce? Like anything that's coming up next, or?
We got a new video coming out. The second video would be I think it's April 18th. It's going to be called Maniacal. It's a little bit more in the pocket, meat potatoes groove. It's not as fast as the last one. I have something to say about Jungle Rot. When we put an album out, I always make sure the first song doesn't sound like all the way through to the 10th song. They're always different. They're always special in their own way. There's a lot of groove on the album. There's a lot of speed on the album. It's just a lot of everything, and I think the people are going to be happy with it. I really do, And then it comes out May 18th, and then we start hitting the road in June, July, and August in Europe. We've got some big festivals lined up over there, and then we're working on a North America tour right now, and we're hoping that's in September, and we're getting ready to announce that sometime soon.
Hell yeah,
so
man.
We're pretty excited, man. We ain't toured the U.S. in quite a while, man. Probably 3-4 years now. We've been concentrating in Europe because it's just been working for us better over there, and we finally got a proper offer, and I hope it goes through. It's really hard to get offers here in the States, the proper ones for us,
Yeah.
And we're hoping for the best that goes through, and we can announce it, in the next month or so.
Hell yeah, man. Well, hopefully you guys can make it down here to Tennessee, because I know we'd love to see you, man.
Yeah, we ain't been there in a while, man. Love to be there. I can't remember the last time we've been there. I don't even know if we ever been there, have we? Might be the only place I haven't been.
That's for a lot of bands, man. Fucking, it's definitely one of those spots that.
I know it's a good scene. You've been doing great down there. You got that festival.
Yeah.
I see it all, man. Yeah, you've been running that for a while. I know that, man.
Yeah, not a lot of booking agents look at it down here because it is kind of difficult with all the fucking religious extremists around here and stuff, but there is definitely a scene here, man. There's a lot of metalheads here that are they're hungry and they're crazy for it, man. They love it, because they don't get it. They don't get it as much as the other cities and stuff,
Yeah, I like that. We, every now and then you'll have 2 or 3 of those on the tours, man. You could tell they ain't had metal, in 2-3 months versus, you got a Chicago Reggie's that's got it 7 days a week,
Yeah, exactly.
And there is a big difference, man, a big difference. It's tough for kids these days, There's so many tours, which one do you pick? You can't go to them all,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, especially with the pricing on some of the the bigger stuff. Like, fuck, man, it's crazy, dude. It's insane. But the underground stuff, the underground shows, the local bands, or the smaller fucking, I always say, man, try to go out to that shit, man, if you can, and support, because it's definitely worth it. To me, it's so much more fun being able to buy a ticket that's affordable, go to a show, still have money to buy beers, still have money to buy merch, buy CDs, and just have a good time, and not have to fucking go home, feeling like you gotta take out another fucking mortgage or some shit, Yeah,
it's up to $200 now to go to a show. I mean, it's pretty crazy, man.
Yeah.
I mean,
but at the same time, you know, with the prices of gas and everything like that going up, it's understandable that bands, you know, they got to make money. They got to be able to afford to tour, you know. So
yeah, people, you know, you bring up a good point. They have no idea. Some might, but a lot of them don't have no idea what it takes to start a tour. Like I'm doing this European tour right now, and you know, I'll just, you know, I don't like talking about, you know, business, but, you know, we'll start a tour off. I mean, any professional band knows this, man. You know, we'll be 35,000 in the hole before we even start. You know, yeah. I mean, you know, renting, you know, plane tickets or gear. I mean, drivers. You know, it's just insane. You'll be, you know, and you have to. It's a very stressful business. You have to work that back off, and you know, it comes. You know, the first 2 weeks you pay it off, then you got, you know, a week and a half to make your profit, man. You know, it's a stressful business, but it always seems to work out for us.
I can't even imagine what it's like for the bands like overseas that are trying to come over here.
Yeah, I feel so bad for them, man. I mean, it's just so many of them get denied. I mean, just it's crazy, man. I mean, yeah. I mean, we're going to be heading over there 3 different times this summer, and I know this is the first time they got American citizens doing a small visa. We have to do visas ourselves. I'm not sure how it works, but I know as soon as we land, we got to do some kind of visa to get in there. So we'll see, man, and what that's all about.
Well, what's your advice to bands out there that are trying to get into all that and trying to be able to do that kind of stuff? You know, like what's the best avenue do you think for them to take, man? Like, it's just
the best avenue to take, like I always tell everybody, man, is you just keep fighting the fight, man. You know, it's not, you know, in my mind, the bands, it really doesn't even, you know, some bands, it's not about how good the band is anymore, or how good you really are. It's how long you're in the game. You know what I'm saying? How long you're in the fight. You know, and the fight is mostly just the fight to keep that name out there until that name grows power. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a weird business, the music business. I'm sure you know it, man.
Yeah, I know.
I don't wish it on anybody, man.
Everything fucking costs money, man. That's
yeah. In the bands, the last to get paid always. Why?
Yeah.
No, but yeah, it's a fight, man. I think you know, the longest you can stay in and keep the guys together. You know, the biggest problem and the biggest hardest problem in Dream is to find the same 3 or 4 guys or 5 guys that share that passion, that stay together in that band for, you know, a long time. You know, that you look at the bands, the ones that are most successful are the ones that don't lose musicians. You know, that's the biggest problem. You know, if you could find a handful of guys that share that dream and stick together and fight the fight for, you know, 4, 5, 6 years and see where you can get. I mean, you know, just that, you know, give it your all for 5, 6 years and see where you stand. You know, it could be done. And be careful what you wish for.
You know, it's crazy, like, when I think about it, too, you know, like, how big rock and metal just in general really is. Like, I mean, we have festivals all over the world, man, where just millions of people show up and they all fucking go out and support it. But it's like, at the same time, the industry, especially the mainstream industry, really still kind of shuns it, you know? Like, they don't help out like they do with fucking other, you know, like pop and country and stuff like that. But it's like, rock and metal is really where it's at, man. Like, this is what people fucking want. Why is there not more why is it not easier? You know what I mean? Like, why does this got to be so fucking hard? But I don't know, man.
I don't know. It's always, you know, it's always been hard. I think that's the fight that we drive on to write our music on. You know, that's what we use to influence the write. You know, the fight. You know, the fight to fight. You know, it helps a lot in your writing. You know, and maybe that's the whole point of it.
I guess so. Yeah. That's a good point. I mean, it definitely influences the music, and it makes it angrier.
Yeah, exactly, man. I'll show you. You know, but another thing that I've always said for a band to make it too, man, is you know, it always, in my mind, it took, you know, a couple things. It took timing, the right timing to come out, something fresh, and somebody's got to believe in you. You know, you get those 2 things, man. The timing right, and somebody believing you and backing you, and you can go. You know, I mean, it just all lines up. You know.
Oh yeah. All right, well, Dave, one thing I want to ask you, I like to ask everybody, you know, for all the gearheads out there, man, like what kind of What kind of shit are you guys using in the studio and on stage and stuff, like as far as amps and pedals and shit like that?
Basically, same thing in the studio is what I use live. I use an Angle Fireball 100 Angle head. I love it, man. I use them in Europe a lot, so I started using them every time we rent gear. I mean, 90% of the people are using Angle over there. I started using them about 3 years ago, and I started using it here. And then I use a Vader cabinet, man. I love Vader cabinets. They sound good with that Angle. And then I'm always been with ESP guitars, and we're basically a plug-and-play band. That's all we do. We've got a noise gate and plug into the head and go.
Hell yeah. Nope. What kind of speakers are in the Vader cabs?
I think they're Emis's. I'm not sure which ones they are, though, man. Maybe the Patriots, I think they might be. Emis's Patriots, they might be.
Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Well, it fucking sounds killer, man. Everything I've heard so far sounds great, man. And yeah, dude, we look forward to hopefully seeing you guys live at some point, man, soon.
Yeah, I'd love to get down there. I think you got a beautiful state there, man. I'm a big hunter, man. I'd love to, I'm from Wisconsin. That's what I do for a living. On the side is hunting. I know you got a lot of hunting down there, and I like that.
Oh yeah. We definitely do, man. And fishing too, man. We got tons. Lakes every fucking where, man. Like that's all I do is go fishing, man.
Yeah, I'm big on the outdoors, man. It's a big part of my life.
That's cool, man. It's good, man. Like it makes you connect with Earth and
it cleans the soul,
Yeah, just kind of quiet out everything else and just focus on the real shit, man.
Yep. Yeah, I like that a lot, man.
Hell yeah. All right. Well, I guess I'm about out of questions for you, man. Is there anything else you want to let the people know?
Well, just thanks for the time doing this. I had fun. I know a lot of people don't buy stuff anymore.
Well, for the people out there that do want to buy stuff, where should they go, man? Where's the best place for them to go?
Anywhere online. I'm sure you can just, like Indie Merch is the big seller. I mean, if you go to Indie Merch, they're selling it. I mean, the Unique Leader website's got it. I mean, it's pretty easy to find. I'm sure if you just punch it in Google, the pre-order, Crew Face of War pre-order, it's up for pre-order right now. They'll find it.
Hell yeah. Vinyl and CD and everything?
Yeah.
Fuck yeah. And T-shirts and shit, merch and stuff like that too?
Yeah, yep, it's all up there, all pre-order packages, yeah. Pretty cool merch.
Hell yeah. All right, dude, well, before I let you go, can I get you to make us a station tag real quick?
Sure.
Whenever you're ready, say something like, "This is Dave from Jungle Rot, and you're listening to Metal Devastation motherfucking Radio."
Hey everyone, this is Dave from Jungle Rot, and you're listening to Metal Devastation fucking Radio. Let's go!
Fuck yeah, man. Hell yeah. All right, dude. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to talk to us, man. I really appreciate it. And what I'm going to do now is going to blast some more Jungle Rot for these motherfuckers so they go crazy, all right?
Thank you so much, man. And I hope we can hook up someday.
Hell yeah, dude. Hell yeah. We will.
All right, brother. Take care.
All right, later.
Keep up the good work too, man. Like I said, I see it all the time, man. I'm proud of you, Zach.
Thank you, man. Thank you. That means a lot, dude.
Yeah, I see. I'm not too much online and shit and do that, but I see you're a good hard worker, good pusher, man, and I can see you're a good guy, man.
I really appreciate that, dude.
Yeah, no problem.
All right, man. Well, cheers. We'll talk to you later.
Cheers, bud. Bye-bye.
There you have it, folks. Dave from the Jungle Rot, live on the Zach Moonshine Show with Metal Devastation fucking Radio. Like I said earlier, put your speakers in your fucking windows, put them in your front lawns, put them in your neighbor's driveway, do whatever you gotta do, man. If you don't see U-Haul trucks everywhere tomorrow, what the fuck are you doing, man? I mean, seriously. All you gotta do is crank it up, man. Don't be scared. It's okay. It's gonna be alright. Just crank it up, man. I'm telling you. Trust me.